Good morning everyone. As I have already sent you the notes, all the students. So with the notes also, and I am explaining all these notes on this board also. So it will be quite easy for you to understand them. So as we have two books in central CBSE board also and Rajasthan board. In Rajasthan board one is micro and second one is macro, or in CBSE one is macro and second one is Indian economy. So the common book which we have in CBSE also and Rajasthan board, it is macroeconomics. So I am going to start with it. I try to be bilingual so it will be easy for you to make it understand. So first page of your notes, you can start with the first page of your notes which I have sent you on WhatsApp, and I have put the old notes on board also, so it will be quite easy for you to make it understand. I hope you will be at your home safe, and we should utilize that time in our studies. So I am trying to it, and I hope if you have any problem you can ask me about it. You can send your problems, I can reply over there. So let's start with the first macro. We have discussed that why we study economics. I told you economics is the study of human behavior, where we study how a human behave when the resources are scarce, wants are unlimited, and resources have alternative uses. Because, like for example, I tell you, we have limited electricity production in our country, and every human who is living in this country required 24 hours the electricity. He required electricity for production, consumption, for farming, all these things. Now electricity is required by farmers also. Now electricity is required by producers who is running factories. Electricity is required at our home, at our household, and electricity is limited, and our want for electricity is unlimited. Now how to use that electricity in a proper way that everyone can utilize it? What will be the best way to utilize that electricity which is limited? So from that example I would like to tell you that resources are scarce, wants are unlimited, and resources have alternative uses. So the problem of choice arises, and that is called economic problem. It is separately at individual level and aggregate level. Like I, as an individual, I have a problem that I have limited income and I have lots of wants. So I have a limited salary, in that I need to buy, I want to buy a car also, I want to buy food for myself, I want to buy a TV also. I have lots of wants, different wants, because that income can be utilized at alternative uses. And second thing, that income is limited and my wants are unlimited. So that problem of choice, like how to utilize my income at individual level, that is faced by me. So that is the problem at individual level that we discuss in microeconomics. But electricity, as I have discussed to you, national income. So the country's income has to be, nowadays the income has gone down because production is totally stopped. So that is the problem at aggregate level, not at individual level. So when how to utilize the natural resources at this time. Now we are having coronavirus problem in our country. That disease is going so at high level in our country. Now our medical resources are limited, and everyone required that medical facility. So our want is unlimited, and medical staff can be utilized at different ways. So it has alternative uses also. Now how to utilize that medical staff, the medical accessories, that medical system in a better way, in a proper way, that it can be utilized for the welfare of the society and at optimum level, in the best way how we can utilize it. So now the problem arises, how to utilize that resources. But not at individual level, it is utilized at an aggregate level. When we are discussing the economic problems at aggregate level, then it is part of macroeconomics. So what does it mean, macroeconomics? Macro means M-A-C-R-O, A defines aggregate. So aggregate means when we are discussing economic problem at aggregate level, then it is called macroeconomics. Problem of choice decided by economy, how to use that resources, the natural resources, in a better way. How we can utilize them for the maximum social welfare. how we can utilize them, that we can have full employment. The objective of macroeconomics to have full employment. This is called equilibrium level of macroeconomics. Like if we get equilibrium level means optimum situation, the best situation. And for aggregate level, what will be the best situation? When we will have full employment in the economy. Now let's start with the macroeconomics. How does it help? Macro means, I have already told you, A for aggregate. And when we are discussing the economic problem at aggregate level, it is macroeconomics. What are the things we are going to study in macroeconomics? We are discussing aggregate output. Aggregate output means total production of a country in one accounting year. How much we produce. So we are not talking about individual production, we are talking about the total production. That's called aggregate output. Aggregate supply. Aggregate demand. Total planned expenditure. Suppose that in India, the whole India is planning to spend 1000 crore rupees in from 1st April 2020 to 31st March 2021. So in that accounting year, whatever we are planned to spend, जो भी हम खर्चा करने वाले हैं, that will be the demand. Because demand means we are ready to buy, we have capability to buy and we want to spend that amount on that commodity. मुझे गाड़ी खरीदनी है, खरीदने के लिए पैसे हैं और वो पैसे मैं उस गाड़ी पे खरीदने के लिए खर्च भी करना चाहता हूँ. So that will be the demand. So I have planned to spend 10 lakh rupees on a car. So that will be the demand in the market. That whole country, whatever they are planned to spend in the upcoming year, that will be the market demand or aggregate demand, sorry. So that is aggregate demand. Like whatever we are planning to spend in the upcoming one accounting year. Aggregate income, total income. If you sum up all the individual income, that will be aggregate income. So here we are talking about demand, output and income, but at aggregate level, not at individual level. Now from where this macro words comes, from where, what is the history of it? Macro word was given by John Maynard Keynes. Not exactly word, that concept came from John Maynard Keynes. He has written a book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, in 1936. And he has discussed in that book a separate branch of economics, and that branch of economics is called macroeconomics. Here he was explained the problem of employment, income, interest and money. He explained that how we can solve the problem of unemployment, how we can solve the problem of deflation, how we can solve the problem of inflation. So from there, from that book that has been published in 1936 and that was written by John Maynard Keynes, that is called also Keynesian theory. And from that book, he has discussed the separate branch of economics that is called macroeconomics. In that, what does it mean? When we study economic problem at aggregate level, like aggregate output, aggregate demand, aggregate income, general price level, as we call in simple language that की महंगाई बढ़ रही है, so it means general price level बढ़ रहा है, महंगाई कम हो रही है, इसका मतलब general price level नीचे जा रहा है. तो ये क्यों हो रही है महंगाई? Now ये ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है that the whole general price level goes up? So that also discussed in macroeconomics. Why we study macroeconomics? Whenever we are studying any subject, anything, the first thing which will come in our mind that why we are discussing this, how it going to help us in our life, day to day life में कैसे help करेगा? Let me tell you. I'll try to make it understand. I'll rub it and then we will start again. So the second part. Now we will discuss that from what is the history of macroeconomics? How does it come in the existence? As I told you, macroeconomics was given by the separate branch. It was discussed by the John Maynard Keynes in his books. In his book, The General Theory of Income, Employment, Interest and Money in 1936. So, जरूरत क्या थी? Why he provided that theory? How does it come in his mind? इसके दिमाग में आया कैसे कि ये ऐसा economics हमें पढ़ना चाहिए? Macroeconomics we need to study. So what is the reason that why we are studying? How does it come? Why Keynes gave that theory? Let's have the answer of it. Now question is that why Keynes gave that theory, why Keynes discussed about macroeconomics. Till that we have discussed macroeconomics is given by as a separate branch by John Maynard Keynes. He discussed in macroeconomics about aggregate supply, aggregate demand, aggregate income, general price level, and we are discussing the economic problem at macro level, at economy as whole level, at aggregate level. And John Maynard Keynes gave that theory in 1936 in his book. But why did he give that? Let's have the answer. There was a thought before 1936, before 1930 even, 1930 से पहले, there was a thought about economics. There was a thought about economics, and that thought was the first thought of economics. That was the first idea of economics. Before 1930, 1930 से पहले, what people think about economics? लोग economics के बारे में क्या सोचते थे, क्या जानते थे? What does it come in their mind when they think about economics? That was the first thought of economics, and that is called classical thought. Basically, that thought was used by capitalist countries. Capitalist countries means maximum resources or full of the resources are owned by private sector only. There is no interference of government. Every single resource by owned by private sector. Rich countries economics. That is called capitalist countries. So classical thought was adopted by capitalist countries. That was the first thought of economics, and that was given by 1930. Now what was that classical thought? क्या था वो? According to the classical thought, whatever the economic activities we are having, like production, consumption and investment, in that production, consumption and investment, there should not be any interference of government. Government should not interfere in it. Government का उसमें कोई रोल नहीं होगा कि कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, कितना कंजप्शन होगा, कितना प्रोडक्शन होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई एम टेलिंग यू, आज ऐसा नहीं है. देयर इज इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट. आप स्टॉक नहीं कर सकते अपने घर में जितना चाहे, गवर्नमेंट इंटरफेयर करेगी, ये ब्लैक मार्केटिंग है. आप इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना करोगे, दैट आर ऑल्सो डिसाइडेड बाई गवर्नमेंट. लाइक रेपो रेट, गवर्नमेंट ने कल ही हमारा रेपो रेट है वो कम कर दिया. So why they have done it, I'll explain you in another chapter, but I'll just try to make you understand little bit. बैंक अपना रेपो रेट कम करता है, मीन्स रिजर्व बैंक ने डिसाइड किया कि रेपो रेट कम होगा, इससे लोन थोड़े सस्ते हो जाएंगे. एंड हाउ इट्स गोइंग टू बी, दैट विल डिस्कस इन बैंक मनी एंड बैंकिंग चैप्टर. सो यदि रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया अपने इंटरेस्ट रेट्स कम करता है, तो जो कमर्शियल बैंक है, जो हमारे आसपास जो बैंक हैं, जैसे बड़ौदा बैंक है, एचडीएफसी बैंक है, एसबीआई है, वो भी जो लोन हम लोगों को दे रहे हैं उसका इंटरेस्ट कम कर देंगे. अब इंटरेस्ट रेट जब कम होगा, व्हेन द इंटरेस्ट रेट विल बी लो, वी विल टेक मोर लोन, सप्लाई ऑफ मनी विल बी मोर इन द मार्केट. ज्यादा लोन लेंगे तो हमारे पास पैसे ज्यादा होंगे, पैसे ज्यादा होंगे, व्हेन वी विल हैव मोर मनी, वी विल हैव मोर कंजप्शन, वी विल यूज दैट मनी, वी विल स्पेंड मोर मनी. ज्यादा खर्चा करेंगे तो मार्केट में एक्सपेंडिचर बढ़ेगा, और एक्सपेंडिचर एज आई टोल्ड यू बिफोर, इट इज एग्रीगेट डिमांड. एग्रीगेट डिमांड बढ़ जाएगी, लोगों के पास पैसा ज्यादा होगा तो इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा करेंगे. सो दैट इन्वेस्टमेंट, कंजप्शन, प्रोडक्शन, वो किसने कंट्रोल किया है? गवर्नमेंट ने कंट्रोल किया है. गवर्नमेंट नोज दैट कि आने वाले 3 महीने में स्लो डाउन चला है, लॉकडाउन कर दिया गया है, सब कुछ बंद है, कोई प्रोडक्शन नहीं हो रहा, बहुत बेरोजगारी हो सकती है मार्केट में, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हो सकता है. सो व्हाट दे डिड, दे हैव टेकन द एडवांस स्टेप्स, दे हैव रिड्यूस्ड द रेपो रेट. उन्होंने बैंकिंग सिस्टम के अंदर लिक्विडिटी को बढ़ाने के लिए, पैसे को बढ़ाने के लिए स्टेप लिया है, ताकि आने वाले 3 महीने बाद में इजीली सबको लोन मिल सके. जैसे महिलाएं जो दे वांट टू स्टार्ट देयर ओन स्टार्टअप, उनके लिए भी उन्होंने 20 लाख तक कर दिया गया है, और बता दिया गया कि बिना कोलेटरल के, बिना किसी चीज को गिरवी रखे दे कैन टेक लोन. सो व्हाट इज गोइंग टू बी, इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ेगा, और ये इन्वेस्टमेंट किसने कंट्रोल किया है? गवर्नमेंट ने कंट्रोल किया है. बट ये आज किया है. अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लासिकल थॉट उस वक्त ऐसा नहीं हो सकता था. गवर्नमेंट शुड नॉट कंट्रोल इट. कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, कितना नहीं होगा, दैट वाज टोटली डिसाइडेड बाय मार्केट फोर्सेस. मार्केट फोर्स जो है, डिमांड एंड सप्लाई, एंड डिमांड होगी तो सप्लाई हो जाएगा, डिमांड नहीं होगी तो सप्लाई नहीं होगा. इफ दे आर अर्निंग मोर तो दे विल इन्वेस्ट, इफ दे आर नॉट अर्निंग दे वोंट इन्वेस्ट. तो इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा या नहीं होगा, प्रोडक्शन होगा या नहीं होगा, कंजप्शन होगा या नहीं, दैट वाज टोटली डिसाइडेड बाय डिमांड एंड सप्लाई. हु सेड दिस? according to the classical thought of economics before 1930. One more thing, डिसीजन रिगार्डिंग जो कंजप्शन इन्वेस्टमेंट है दैट विल बी डिसाइडेड बाय डिमांड एंड सप्लाई, और उनका एक ही एम है अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लासिकल थॉट, दे नीड टू हैव प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन, दे वांट टू अर्न मोर एंड मोर, ऑप्टिमम सिचुएशन they want profit maximization, because that was the thought of capitalist countries. कोई सोशलिज्म की बात नहीं हो रही थी, कोई सोशल वेलफेयर की बात नहीं हो रही थी, सिर्फ किसकी बात हो रही थी, प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन की बात हो रही थी. Everyone wants to earn, and according to the classical thought there will be full employment always. हमेशा क्या होगा, full employment होगा, unemployment नहीं होगा. और the most important line of it, supply creates its own demand. यानी मार्केट में यदि किसी चीज की डिमांड हुई तो उसकी सप्लाई अपने आप हो जाएगी. क्यों? बिकॉज डिमांड एंड सप्लाई आर रनिंग द मार्केट. इफ देयर विल बी डिमांड, सप्लाई विल बी ऑल देयर. किसी को कुछ चीज चाहिए, अपने आप प्रोड्यूसर आएंगे, बनाएंगे और सप्लाई कर देंगे. डिमांड नहीं होगी तो सप्लाई भी नहीं होगी. सो बेसिक पॉइंट में अगेन आई विल ट्राई टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड. 1930 से पहले की क्लासिकल थॉट थी, उसके अकॉर्डिंग फर्स्ट थॉट थी कैपिटलिस्ट कंट्रीज के अंदर थी. नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू इट देयर विल बी ऑलवेज फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट, कोई अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं होगा. क्यों नहीं होगा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट? क्योंकि डिमांड और सप्लाई ऑलवेज इक्वल चलेंगे. तो डिमांड और सप्लाई जब आपस में इक्वल रहेंगे देन देयर विल बी ऑलवेज फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्लासिकल थॉट. यहां पे प्रोडक्शन, इन्वेस्टमेंट और कंजप्शन का डिसीजन कौन लेगा? मार्केट फोर्सेस लेंगे, नॉट द गवर्नमेंट. गवर्नमेंट देयर शुड नॉट बी एनी इंटरफेरेंस. दैट वाज बिफोर 1930. बट 1930 के बाद इन 1936 एक इकोनॉमिक स्लो डाउन हुआ, डिस्पर्जन हुआ, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया. यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में बहुत ज्यादा अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ गया, बेरोजगारी हुई, और मार्केट फोर्सेस जो डिमांड और सप्लाई को रेगुलेट कर रहे थे दे फेल टू डू इट. वो नहीं बता सके कि क्यों मार्केट में अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हो रहा है. तो दैट वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस नाउ. उसी वजह से जॉन मेनार्ड कीन्स को उस प्रॉब्लम का सॉल्यूशन निकालना पड़ा. And that solution was discussed in the separate branch of economics that is called macroeconomics. Now let's discuss about what happened after 1930. So we have discussed the classical thought and that was before 1930. 1930 से पहले that was a classical thought. What was classical thought? I explained to you already. Now what happened in 1930? What was the economic problem? Because of that, Keynes has to come in the picture and need to write the book. The book name is General Theory of Interest, Money, General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. Why did he give? As I told you, before 1930, there was a classical thought. What was classical thought? We have discussed. In 1930, there was an economic slowdown came in capitalist countries. Capitalist countries. And that economic slowdown called the Great Depression in 1930 it came. What was the Great Depression? It witnessed what happened in Great Depression. There was great downfall in the output. Output means production. There was a great downfall in the production. Production बिल्कुल गिर गया. Production was totally goes down. One more thing, जब प्रोडक्शन कम होगा तो काम नहीं मिलेगा लोगों को. That again happened. Great downfall in the employment level. Great downfall in the employment level. Two things came with the Great Depression. The situation called Great Depression. What was the situation? Great downfall in the output. Production बहुत ज्यादा गिर गया. Second, एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल भी काफी गिर गया, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया. एंड एग्रीगेट डिमांड डिड नॉट मीट टू द एग्रीगेट सप्लाई. डिमांड है वो कम हो गई और सप्लाई ज्यादा थी. एग्रीगेट डिमांड डिड नॉट मीट टू द एग्रीगेट सप्लाई. प्रोडक्शन तो हो गया था, लोग खरीद नहीं रहे थे, डिमांड ही नहीं कर रहे थे, और डिमांड नहीं कर रहे थे इस वजह से जो प्रोड्यूसर्स थे दे कट डाउन देयर प्रोडक्शन. उन्होंने अपना प्रोडक्शन बंद कर दिया, प्रोडक्शन बिल्कुल गिर गया, और प्रोडक्शन गिरने की वजह से लोग अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हो गए और एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल है वो अभी काफी गिर गया. सो दैट वाज द न्यू सिचुएशन बिकॉज 1930 से पहले ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं. and in capitalist countries. And the classical thought, जो classical thought थी 1930 से पहले, that was not able to explain that problem. They could not find any solution for it कि कैसे हम फिर से employment level को बढ़ा सके. Because according to the classical thought, गवर्नमेंट का कोई इंटरफेरेंस होना चाहिए, मार्केट अपने आप काम करेगा, डिमांड फोर्स से डिसाइड करेंगे कब प्रोडक्शन करना है, कितना प्रोडक्शन करना है, कंजप्शन कितना करना है. सो क्लासिकल थॉट, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट देयर इज नो इंटरफेरेंस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट, मार्केट विल डिसाइड डिमांड एंड सप्लाई, कभी भी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट नहीं होगा, देयर विल बी ऑलवेज फुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट. दे कुड नॉट मेक इट अंडरस्टैंड दैट प्रॉब्लम ग्रेट डिप्रेशन, कि ये अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट हुआ क्यों है, ये आउटपुट जो नीचे गिर गया है वो क्यों गिरा है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल जो नीचे गिर गया है वो क्यों गिरा है. इन दैट क्लासिकल थॉट फेल टू एक्सप्लेन दिस प्रॉब्लम. और फिर ए न्यू वे ऑफ एग्जामिन द वर्किंग ऑफ इकोनॉमी के, हमारी इकोनॉमी कैसे काम करती है उसको एग्जामिन करने के लिए, उसको समझने के लिए एक नया रास्ता ढूंढा गया, एक नया तरीका निकाला गया. एंड दैट वे वाज डेवलप्ड बाय John Maynard Keynes, and that is called Keynesian theory. What was that Keynesian theory? As I told you, Keynes has written a book, The General Theory of Income, Employment, Interest and Money, and that is called Keynesian theory. वो एक नया तरीका था इस ग्रेट डिप्रेशन, यानी जहां पे एग्रीगेट डिमांड एग्रीगेट सप्लाई से मैच नहीं कर रही, एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेवल गिरता जा रहा है, आउटपुट गिरता जा रहा है, उसको कैसे सॉल्व करें. दैट वाज एक्सप्लेन्ड बाय कीन्स एंड दैट इज कॉल्ड Keynesian theory. और किसका कैसे समझाया उसने? He gave a book in 1936 which I have discussed you before also. So now the question is solved. Why Keynes has given that theory? Why Keynes written that book? Because classical thought could not understand, could not solve the problem. They failed to explain this situation, and they have to find some new way, and that way found by Keynes. What was that Keynesian theory? Keynes, according to the classical thought, there should not be any interference, but Keynes said that there should be a direct control. There should be direct control on production, consumption and investment by government. Government should control it. According to classical thought, there should not be any interference, but Keynes said that government should control production, consumption and investment. And direct interference should be from government side if they want to solve the problem of unemployment. According to the Keynes, यदि आपको इस unemployment की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना है, इकोनॉमिक स्लो डाउन की प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करना है, तो गवर्नमेंट शुड कंट्रोल इट. गवर्नमेंट शुड डायरेक्टली इंटरफेयर इन इट. दे शुड कंट्रोल द प्रोडक्शन, कंजप्शन एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट. That was the Keynesian theory. Rest we will discuss about the whole Keynesian theory. We have 4 chapters of general theory of income and employment, interest and money. That we will discuss about how this aggregate demand match to the aggregate supply, how we can solve this problem, and that theory will help us today also. We should thank to him that in 1936 he gave that theory, and that is helping today. Today, as our Reserve Bank of India decreased the repo rate, that is the directly linked by the Keynesian theory. That is the part of monetary policy, and that government control what he talked about in 1936 we are doing today also. So you can understand the importance of Keynesian theory कि 1936 में 1936 में that he gave that theory, or we are using in 2020 today also. So how important it is. आज भी अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट को, बेरोजगारी को कम करने के लिए हम वही सब कर रहे हैं, वही सब फॉर्मूले, वही सब मेथड इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. सो दैट इज टोटली इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट द फर्दर व्हाट how this macro world come in existence. As he gave that Keynesian theory, in that Keynesian theory, he explained a separate branch of economics, and that branch is called macroeconomics. What was macroeconomics? Where we study the aggregate problems. Aggregate problems like unemployment. Unemployment problem is not a problem of single person. It is the problem for whole economy. That our resources are not getting used. What does it actually economy we understand? Economic means total means of earning, total means of production. So the total means of production is not getting utilized our human resources are not getting utilized, there is unemployment. So it is a problem of whole economy, and that aggregate problem will be discussed in macroeconomics. So that was discussed by Keynesian theory, and that separate branch of economics came in existence, that is called macroeconomics. Now let's discuss what are the things we will discuss in macroeconomics. In macroeconomics, we will discuss about the economy's income and national income. We'll discuss about inflation, deflation, like why price level goes up, why price level goes down, why there is unemployment, why government provide budget, how this banking and money system work. In this situation of unemployment, how bank is working. Now, if you want to understand the last statement of RBI governor yesterday, what he gave, that he reduced, that he's taken a lot of steps. If you want to understand all these steps, that how it going to help the Indian economy, so you have to understand the macro. The whole macroeconomics, once you go to understand, you will easily understand their steps. So all these chapters we are going to discuss in macroeconomics. Thank you.